Yo, what's up, Game Leapers? It's the Spooge, mate. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the champions that got changed in 13.5, buffs and nerfs, and yeah, what's actually happened to them, like if they've got better, if they've got worse. So make sure you stick around for the whole video. I'm going to be revealing these win rates very soon. And guys, if you do want to master any of these champions, like check out the Game Leap website. Our challenger players and coaches from around the world uploading so many videos a week for our subscribers, and there are thousands of them, so why not join the club? There is no way you won't giga improve by watching my videos on there, but yeah, check it out, links in the description and comment section. So as far as champions who got buffed in 13.5, the champion who's actually decreased, funnily enough, in terms of win rate, and these stats, by the way, guys, are from every single rank, okay? So from like Iron 4 all the way to rank 1, but Aatrox, apparently his win rate has actually decreased by a little bit, but I really wouldn't pay too much attention to this. This is really minimal. The champion actually did get buffed, like there are no nerfs or adjustments Riot gave him. The only thing here is that the buffs really come into effect from level 14 onwards, so it's really like late game oriented. At that point, yes, a game can be decided, so it won't have too much sway on his win rate, but still, he is an improved champion, and yeah, this win rate will probably turn into a positive one over the next week or so. Now, champion who's improved by about 0.4% in terms of win rate, this is Samira, because Riot kind of like semi-reverted her passive nerf from a couple of patches ago, so what they've done is they've given you actually just more movement speed in the early game, and this has actually seen Samira's win rate increase a little bit. Those nerfs a couple of patches ago, like I mentioned, they completely gutted this champion, taking her from S+ tier all the way down to like B tier. Now she's probably around B and A tier, and you're probably only picking this champion to counter certain champions in the bot lane, so something like a Draven and a Felios, something like this. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you're going to pick Samira in 13.5. Now in the top lane, Tryndamere, his win rate has increased by 0.9%, and this has actually gone up quite a lot in higher reloads. So the extra health you're going to have in the mid to late game, and also the extra attack damage you're going to have in the mid to late game is really nice, right? But the question is if you can actually get to the mid to late game and survive the laning phase, which is when you're actually kind of weak, especially in the top lane against those strong early game bruisers and fighters. Even tanky champions like Cho'Gath and Sign, when they get like Bramble Vest, it's pretty difficult to run into his Tryndamere. So matchups at the moment aren't that favorable for him, but his win rate has improved because of the buffs. Now moving into the plus 1%ers of win rates in terms of the champions who got buffed and their win rates. The first of these is LeBlanc, with her win rate going up 1.13%, and for LB, the changes to your Q, where it's actually giving you mana refund and cooldown refund when you last hit a minion, it's just so good. Like, it just feels so nice playing up. Now you have a bit more wave clear, a bit more wave management, right? And your CS as a result is going up because of these buffs. And honestly, these buffs might see LeBlanc picked a heck of a lot more in pro play because she does so well into so many mid laners. LeBlanc mains, let me know down below how the changes to your Q actually feel. Now staying in the mid lane, Qiyana's win rate has improved by 1.15%, and the changes, yes, they did improve your early game, right? So as far as your Q's physical damage goes, the base damage from rank 2 onwards increase, and also your E's cooldown decreased by 1 second, so you have more opportunities, right? And your all-ins and your poke, well, they just deal more damage. But I don't know if these buffs, like how significant they actually are. Yes, I know her win rate has improved, but yeah, Qiyana mains as well. Let me know down below, like, if the changes are legit or not. Like, do you need something else? Do you need some sort of like passive revert when they nerf this? Do you need a bit more HP or mana, something like this? Let me know down below. Now, moving to the top lane, I mean, you can play Rumble in the mid lane, but Rumble in the top lane, his win rate has improved by 1.27%, and funnily enough, in the mid lane, it's gone up 1.5%. Reason for this is because your E, so your Electro Harpoon, the actual magic resistance shred on this, on the first harpoon hit, it's gone up from 10%, a flat 10%, to 12 to 20%, and the second harpoon that hits 20% to a scaling 24 to 40% of magic resist shred. That is legit like having a void staff. This has been an unreal change for Rumble, and in Master and above right now, the champion has like a 53% win rate and is classified as S tier. When this champion gets into that S tier territory, we're going to see him a lot more in pro play, and he's a great flex pick as well, of course, but people are still maxing their Q and then their E second. So just keep that in mind if you're going to play Rumble in 13.5. Now another AP champion, Fizz. One of the big talking points in this patch is this wannabe Aquaman, and for Fizz, the fact that your W is giving you more mana back, and also your E's damage increased and the mana cost went down. This means, and I have checked the stats, that you can actually go Rocket Belt on this champion now, which is just like unreal. It's what Fizz mains have been wanting for so long, ever since they changed items and kind of got rid of Proto Belt back in the day. This is what Fizz mains have wanted. No more Luden's Tempest, no more Lost Chapter and a Mana Mythic. We want to go full damage, we want to go full magic penetration assassin mode. That's what you can now do with Rocket Belt. Fizz's win rate, because of these insane changes, has gone up by 1.36%. And Fizz mains, I'd love to know if this is real. Like, is Rocket Belt the actual go-to build now? Let us know in the comment section. Now moving to the bot lane, the AD carry who got giga buffed in 13.5 is Jinx, and her win rate, kind of as I predicted, has gone up 1.62%, and honestly I think she's going to be like picked and banned in pro play because she's that good. Maybe the only like lane that you don't really want to play into is something like a Varus at the moment because that champion is very strong. So maybe you ban Varus and you just pick Jinx and you have a free lane. Like I don't think there's anything else that will really press you during the laning phase. Caitlyn got nerfed, right? Draven you can probably just like keep at bay, and once you get to 2 items you'll just outrange him and should be able to like do fine. But yeah, Jinx's win rate has increased by a lot, and one of the big reasons why is because of the attack speed ratio you're getting extra, a 36% increase in this for a champion who just values attack speed so highly as Jinx. So Jinx honestly is probably the best AD carry to pick. But the biggest winner, guys, of actual 13.5 is a top laner. Now I actually put him in the top 3 most OP top laners for 13.5 in our 3 broken champions video for each role a couple of days ago. Make sure you check that out if you haven't already. This being Kennen. Now Kennen, with the extra damage in your Q, right, you're getting 10% extra AP ratio, and the cooldown in the early game is going down as well. Now you're not going to get that much damage like in the first, like 6 levels, let's say, because you're not going to have that much like ability power in your kit, right, from your items. But once you do get Rocket Belt, once you do get Zhonya's, and whatever else you're building after that, this champion is unreal. The extra damage from that is so good. Even like the E buff where they increase your E's damage to minions, this means your wave clear, particularly in the early game, is just better, right? You're not going to be caught out as much shoving those minion waves. So Kennen, amazing counter pick in the top lane to so many things because of your range, your poke, and because of your disengage. You can stun someone, E out, and you should be chilling and just go back to poking them with your buffed Q. So even though his win rate overall might be 49%, he is a difficult champion to make work in lower elos. And remember, this is for every single rank, but it's definitely going to be higher and higher elos when you know actually how to like kite and play this champion effectively. Now, as far as nerf champions go, well, not all of these got nerfs, some of them got adjustments, but yeah, at the bottom of the list, we have Gangplank. His win rate has decreased by 2.82%. Poor GP. Now, your passive got nerfed, and your E's recharge time is now 18 seconds flat. But maybe the biggest like nerf, I mean, they kind of listed it as like a change, but it is really just a straight nerf, right? The fact you can actually see under GP's HP bar the number of cakes he has available, I think it's just like so easy to play against now. I think for GP mains, like the element of surprise you might have with your cakes, I don't actually like think it's there anymore. Unless you're like in Fog of War and no one's seen you, people just know how many cakes you have, and that means how much range you have against them. So they can space you a heck of a lot better, knowing that you've only got 1 keg up. Or if you've got 0 kegs up, they can just run straight at you. This is useful not only for the enemy top laner, but also the enemy jungler. And when you start team fighting, right, I just think it's a massive like kind of hit to GP and a big buff to anyone playing against him. And yeah, his win rate is now 47% or just above. Now, moving down to the bot lane, the support here, this is Ashe. Her win rate has dropped almost 2.6%. And honestly, thank God for this. Like, this was the most obnoxious champion, I think, in the game. So the W damage nerf for sure has affected her. And also the ultimate cooldown increasing in the early game. I'm really glad about this. Like, I think this was just really unhealthy. Of course, you can still probably like play Ashe support, but only in like specific circumstances now. I think you can't just like blind pick her, like pro players pick and ban. Super annoying, right? Like Ashe support, like, she's meant to be an AD carry. Anyway, yeah, her win rate just above 47% like GP's, but I actually think that's like kind of justified. Now moving to the mid lane, I don't really want to talk too much about this champion because we mentioned him so much recently. This being the Emperor of Pigeons, I mean Shurima. This being Azir. So for Azir, your win rate has dropped 2.2%. It's now below 43%. I even called this like in our videos, right? Looking at the changes, your mana pool in the early game is 320. Right? Like, how many combos is that? Like, maybe a couple, and if you, like, get ganked once, you're gonna be after you WEQ out. Like, it's just over for you. Like, Azir's laning phase, you needed a strong laning phase to even, like, have the thought of getting to a mid to late game, right? Which is when you might actually be able to play this champion. And that still might be the case, but your early game is just absolute piss. Like, it's just so bad. And for Azir to have less than a 43% win rate, like, seriously, what on earth is that balance team doing? I feel so sorry for all you Azir mains out there. You have my condolences. Now, moving to the top lane, another champion, and I guess, like, yeah, anyone who plays this champion, I kind of feel sorry for as well, this being Yorick. Because if you land your E now, your ghoul damage is going to be decreased because of the nerf in 13.5. And for a skill shot, which is, well, it should be difficult to land, and against lots of champions in the top lane with mobility, it is quite hard to land against, especially against good players. This being it, I didn't really agree with this, and that's why Yorick's win rate has decreased by 1.7%. Kind of big, right, for a nerf that doesn't look like too huge on paper, but yeah, the Gravedigger is less effective this patch. Now, speaking of being less effective, Caitlyn's win rate has dropped by over 1.5% because her base damage got nerfed and also her base armor got nerfed which pretty much means that her laning phase, her early game, is weaker. You're not going to come out of this ahead in as many matchups, and yeah, you guys don't have to worry about banning her anymore. She's nowhere near the threat she was, so yeah, just chill. Like I said, you've got other champions like Varus, Jinx is really good again, you've got Xayah, you've got Zeri. There are lots of other AD carries that just outperform Caitlyn at the moment, and she's innately not the strongest champion anymore. Now, one of those AD carries who I just mentioned, Xayah, her win rate is still above 50.3%, but it has actually dropped this patch because of the E-nerfs. So to your Blade Caller's actual damage and to your Blade Caller's cooldown rate increasing by a second. This means, yeah, you just have less pressure, I guess, and of course damage output DPS in that laning phase and during those fights. But I don't think it's really like the biggest thing in the world. You can probably still get away with blind picking her. The only issue is, yeah, like with Jinx being good and even Varus, right? Those lanes should be kind of annoying because of their range, their poke. Xayah loves close range champions, right, who come into her and compositions. So maybe you have to pick her like purely, kind of like Samira as a counter pick now. Blind picking, probably not going to be the way to go. Now, moving into the jungle. Rammus got nerfed, your attack damage growth, and also your ultimate space damage got nerfed as well. This has seen the Armadillo's win rate drop by 1.33%, but you can still pick him. I mean, across the board, I mean, look at the win rate here, 52.5%. You guys are chilling, don't worry. Now, moving to the mid lane, Aurelion Sol. Your win rate has dropped over 1%. Now, I know it says here that Aurelion Sol's win rate is 53.2%, but honestly, like, remember, that's mostly from silver, maybe a bit of gold, okay? So in those elos, you can get to like 30 minutes and just one-shot everyone. You can get to level 16, but in higher elos, his win rate has actually dropped quite significantly below 50%. So yeah, don't worry too much about this. This isn't representative, I don't think, of the actual champion's strength, these stats here, but his win rate on the whole has dropped, but it's dropped a lot more in higher levels of play. Now, moving down to the bot lane again, we have Twitch, right, who got nerfed, so the AP version of Twitch. And honestly, like, who cares? If you're playing attack damage carry Twitch, you should be building like Bork into what, like maybe Crackle Slayer or something. So you shouldn't have to worry too much about this. But if you're playing Twitch support, you can see the Twitch support win rate has dropped by 1.25%. Honestly, good. Like, this champion is meant to be an attack damage carry. Riot Games, please make him this. No more Twitch support. It's super unhealthy and just, yeah, obnoxious. Now, moving back to the mid lane, we've got two attack damage champions. First of these being Zed. Now, Zed's win rate, despite being in the nerf list here, well, it's gone up. And that's because your Shadow Slash in the late game is only on a 3-second cooldown, 3 seconds, which also means your Living Shadow, your W, is on a lower cooldown as well, because each time you use your E, right, it lowers the cooldown of your W when you have your Shadow out there. This has been good for Zed, and his win rate has improved by 0.5%. And before Zed gets banned like all the time now because of this, but yeah. Now, Pantheon is the other mid laner who got buffed, and you can play him in the top lane, maybe as a support, and his win rate has improved by 0.97%, so close to 1%, and in every single role it's improved. In the top lane, it's improved by over 1.1%, as a support, it's improved by over 0.5%. So Pantheon, because your Q is just more potent now, right? Because the cooldown went down, the mana cost went down, also the tap wind up time is just like quicker now, so if you quickly tap your Q, it's going to damage the enemy champions quicker, so it's more in real time, even though your base health regen got nerfed, but your attack speed got buffed. Might feel kind of nice. I mean, it doesn't really change that much. But yeah, your E even being on a longer cooldown hasn't actually really affected him too much in terms of like decreasing his win rate because it's improved overall. Now, the final champion to talk about, guys, and if you are enjoying our Season 13 content, please remember to leave a like down below. Well done. This is Yuumi. I don't want to talk about it. In fact, this is just like the most ridiculous thing ever, bro. Like, please just delete this piece of, yeah, really annoying champion. Yuumi's win rate has improved by over 10.8%. It's now over 50%. This untargetable AIDS of a champion is probably the #1 champion in the game. I'm calling everyone watching this video to permaban her if you don't main her. Get her out of this game, and maybe we can all make League of Legends great again. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. This has been Iggs. I'll see you in tomorrow's Season 13 upload. Peace.